Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for being here. I'd like you to welcome to the Computer Bargains Training Shows channel. If you like what you see here, if you like our videos, if you like the channel, please subscribe. Send the video to a friend, and we'll be more than happy for your support. We thank you in advance for your support. Today we're going to talk about Windows 11, the compatibility issues that Windows 11 is having on different computer systems out there, and I'd like to tell you what you need to have for your computer to be compatible with Windows 11. Most of us, when we buy, we don't worry much about what's going on, where the computer has been, who makes the computer. We're not worry much about what the capacity of the computer. Just if we like it, we know it's an HP computer, it's a Dell computer, it's a Toshiba, it's a Lenovo, Samsung, whatever it is, we just buy the computer. That's all. But today I'd like you to know there is a difference when you're purchasing your computer. First of all, there are 4 elements that you have to know about your computer before you purchase it. You have to know about the processor, you have to know about the memory, you have to know the storage on your computer, and you have to know about your Windows, which Windows you are using. Most of us don't even care about any of that. Once the computer is working, we are fine. Once you go online, you find a computer that matches your price, you like the price, you are happy. But guess what? This is not the right way to do it. For us engineers, we like to look at those factors. We like to look at the processor. How many cores does it have? We like to look at the memory. How much memory do you have? Because the amount of memory you have, that's what's going to help you have a fast computer. What type of storage do you have? Do you have a regular HDD drive? Do you have an SSD drive? What do you have? Do you have the latest operating systems? Because with the operating system, you have a bunch of new features that blocks ransomware, that blocks malware, that protects your computer. So you have security features that are built into your computer. Today we'll focus on the requirements that Windows 11 makes on the processor in your computer. We're not going to talk about the memory, we're not going to talk about the storage capacity, we're not going to talk about previous operating systems, but we're going to talk about Windows 11 and what does it need to make your computer work. So basically, let's put it this way. For you to have a computer that works with Windows 11, you need a 1 gigahertz processor or faster. The processor should have 2 or more cores, okay? 2 or more cores. On a compatible 64-bit processor. I know a lot of us still have like a 32-bit processor, but we need a 64-bit processor. The 64-bit processor will make your computer work much better, much faster, and you have a better performance for the computer. Make sure on the computer you have at least 4 gigabytes of memory, 4 gigabyte RAM, and for the storage capacity, you should have a minimum of 64 gigabyte storage capacity. Most computers has more than that, but if you have an SSD drive, you might be close to 64 gig or 128 gig, but you need to make sure you improve your storage capacity. The processor is the brain that makes all the computation in your computer. So not all processors are created equal. The 2 major companies that produce processors for desktops and for laptops are AMD, which means I think Advanced Micro Devices, and Intel. Intel and AMD have a great challenge on the desktop and the laptop market. Intel has about 80% of the processor market, and AMD has about 20 or 15%. So we know Intel is a giant, but the fact that Intel is a giant doesn't mean that all the processors they make are better than the AMD processors. So we have in the like around the 2000 and at the turn of the century, AMD was producing better processors than Intel. But due to some arrangement that Intel made with the major manufacturers like Dell, HP, Toshiba, they were selling mostly Intel processors, while people who were building computers like us, when we were building a computer, we were building those computers with AMD processors. Because on the AMD processor, we had lots of advantages on the AMD processor. It's affordable pricing, it's at great performance on the gaming machines, and in terms of power consumption, it's very doable. Meaning it lasts longer. It doesn't consume power as much as the Intel processor. And in terms of compatibility, they had great performance with the network. If you have a Wi-Fi network card, it's easy for those the processors and the adapters to work hand in hands. Intel processors are great nowadays. Nowadays, they are very good processors. You have, for example, in the Intel processors, you have the i7, the i9s. Those are high-performing processors. But depends on what you're doing. If you're working on a computer where you're doing gaming, and you're working on a computer where you're doing office work, you have to consider how much money you want to spend on such a computer. The processing power is great when you have an i9. The processing power is great when you have an AMD 5000 series Ryzen. But do to spend a lot of money just to have the power. Windows 11 was introduced very recently, and it works on very specific processors. If you have an Intel processor, you have to make sure that you have a computer that's, let's say, that was built in the year 2017, something like that. You cannot have an Intel processor in your computer and it was built in prior to 2017. So if you look at the current computers, like if you're looking at this configuration that we have on the Dell website, where you have the processor is an i7 here, this one is an i7, and this one is an i9. So once you have good processors in your computer, then Windows 11 will fly. Windows 11 will work great on your computer. Now, what I would like to tell you, however, the processor, you have the 8th generation processor, you have to check that on your computer. You have to see if it's an 8th generation, if it's a 9th generation, if it's a 10th generation. Even if it's an i3, i5, i7, or i9, you have to check the generation. Now we are at the 12th generation for Intel processors. For AMD processors, we have AMD Ryzen 2000 series, 3000 series, 4000 series, and 5000 series. So when you are at the higher model, you are sure that your processor is going to work. But if you had purchased a computer before 2017 and you have an Intel processor in there, I doubt that your computer will be able to support Windows 11. And if it has an AMD processor and you purchase it before 2018, then I doubt you'll be able to support Windows 11. If you want to know how to install Windows 11 on your computer, feel free to contact us. If you want to know how to install Windows 11 on a computer that is older than 2017 or 2018, you can give us a call, or you can send us a chat, a like, or a comment in the video. If you have learned anything from this video, I would appreciate if you support us by subscribing to our channel, by liking our videos and sharing the videos, or by sharing the video on your Facebook page. Thank you for being here, and I hope next time we have a great time with talking more about Windows 11, talking about the processor, the memory, the hard drive. Our next video, we will focus on the SSD drive that is very important to have a high performance computer. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Jay, and thank you, and Harry. I'll see you today. You with us today. Pleasure to have you with us, Larry. And Jay, I do have engineer Jay. I do have a question for you. It seems to me that the processor is the most important part, one of the most important part that you need in a computer. Am I right?
Oh, definitely. The processor is the brain of the computer. The
Yes.
computation, everything is done through the processor. The processor executes everything on the computer. So if you have a slow processor, then your computer will be dragging. So when you're purchasing a computer, you have to look at first of all, do you have an AMD processor? Do you have an Intel processor? Those are the two
Okay.
brand names out there. And on top of it now, do you have an i3, do you have an i5, an i7, or an i9? Or do I have an AMD Ryzen 3, Ryzen 4, Ryzen 5? Whichever series that you have, that would make the difference in the performance in your computer.
Okay. Now there is, for example, if you mention that if you bought a computer in 2017, before 2017, okay, you will have difficulty having Windows 11 once on that 2017 when before 2017 type of computer. Is there any fix without having to go and buy a new computer to have Windows 11 runs perfectly? Is there any fix that we could do?
We use some tricks to have Windows 11 work on your computer that's prior to 2017 or 2000 or 2018. And remember as well, Windows 11 is an automatic upgrade if you already have Windows 10. So you can, Microsoft will automatically check your system and see if you meet the system requirements and then install Windows 11 for you. So now, if you are a good technician and you have an older system, maybe something with Windows 10, but doesn't have the proper processor, sometimes you can upgrade the processor, you change the processor. If you found having to buy another computer, so you can upgrade the processor on your computer and do that. So there are ways we can do it, and will be happy to show anybody who chat with us, would drop a comment and tell them how they can do it.
So, as far as performance, okay, for these type of processors on Windows 11 especially. Now, you said that Microsoft would automatically upgrade you from Windows 10 to Windows 11. Now, do they have some kind of guideline for performance? Because if it's going to take, like, when you press the enter key, you can go to the restroom and come back, the computer is still rolling, nothing coming out. I mean, is that a good, how, what are they doing as far as looking at the performance of the system when they automatically give you an upgrade? Because I don't think how they're going to measure, in a sense, in a word, the performance of what you have before they upgrade you from Windows 10 to Windows 10, I'm saying, to Windows 11.
Microsoft has what's called Microsoft has what's called a system health tool. The system health tool check your computer automatically before it tries to do the upgrade. So
Okay.
if you have an older system, you can download that tool from the Microsoft website and run the PC health tool on your system, and it will tell you which component is not at the level that is tracked to. So if your processor is not 1 gigahertz or more, and it doesn't have 2 core or more, it will tell you the processor cannot handle Windows 11. If your memory is not 4 gig or more, it will tell you you don't have enough memory. If your storage is not 64 gigabyte or more, then it's
Gigabyte.
telling you you don't have enough storage. And it even checks your video cards, it checks other systems also in your computer and make sure that it works fine. So you have to run the system check Microsoft provides to check your system if it's compatible with Windows 11.
Okay.
Jay,
Another
Jay,
question, and
Jay,
I
Jay.
okay, go ahead, Harry.
What I Okay, thank you. Jay, what I understand is that changing your processor sometimes often means changing your main board, and when you change your main board, you may have to change so many other things. You may end up spending you may be better off to just go ahead and buy a new computer. And secondly, Microsoft used to charge uh, uh, for the new Windows coming out there. Right now, Microsoft is not charging for coming for moving from Windows 10, for example, to Windows 11. Why is that?
For a long time now, Microsoft has adopted a model of subscription and a model of automatic update, just like Apple does it. So when you have a computer that has Windows on it, the automatic updates that you have will put your system up to date automatically. It doesn't, it helps you stay focused, it helps your computer stay up to date. So it is good practice, because when you have to spend money on Windows operating system so that you can upgrade to Windows, which is the same product that Microsoft is selling, and you have to pay them extra cash for that. So I think they changed the model just to be able to keep up with the competition with Apple. Now, the good thing is as well is that the hardware has to be upgraded as well. So if they're trying to install Windows 11 for you and you cannot go to Windows 11, at one point Windows 10 will be discontinued. The choice you will have is to change your computer as well.
A segment of the market.
It could be. It
So,
could be.
so I guess one of these days you'll be talking about Apple as well, because you're talking about processors, but you only mentioned Intel and AMD. You're not talking about the Apple processors.
Apple, as of recently, was using Intel processors, had a great deal together, but Apple recently wants to change their mind. They want to produce their own processors. So Apple is building factories and trying to build new ARMs processors that will be different than the Intel processors. We are watching on that and see what's going to happen next.
Okay, I think that might be the last question I have for you. Um, if someone have Windows 7, is running actually on Windows 7, what is the option? What are some of the options the person would have in order to get to Windows 11?
Almost no options, because Windows 7 has been discontinued and Windows 7 is really, 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 really old. It was a good operating system though. Windows 7 was a great operating system. It was very stable. People loved it. But nowadays, technologies are advanced so much that Windows 7 has too many security flaws. It has too many security with hacking, with ransomware, with malware. People are trying to stay away from Windows 7 and try to upgrade to the more recent Windows so that they can be secured. The computers can be secured.
Okay, well, guys, right
So,
now, I think, go ahead, Harry. I'm sorry.
yes.
I'm sorry, Harry.
So if you have Windows 10, especially Windows 11, talking about security, why will you need to have like an antivirus software?
Why will you need to do what?
To have an antivirus
Do
software.
you need to have do you need to have an antivirus software on top of Windows 10 or Windows 11?
You on the Windows platform, you always need to have an antivirus software to protect your computer from malware, spyware, ransomware, and so many other vulnerabilities. It's not that because Windows is weak on but it's because Windows is on so many different platforms. Contrary to Apple, Apple has a proprietary hardware and proprietary software. So people cannot look into the code that Apple builds, cannot look into the hardware that Apple has. Windows has to make its software compatible to Intel, to AMD, to all the other manufacturers out there. They have to provide the code so that they can build drivers to make Wi-Fi adapters, to make hard disk drives, to make all these work together. So it is important that we focus on that and understand the difference between uh, a Windows computer, which usually called PC, and an Apple computer. And because believe me, there is a big challenge between these two users. People who have Apple computer, they don't want you to tell them they have a PC. No, they say I don't have a PC. I have an Apple. And people who are
Apple.
using PCs, they know they have a flexibility in terms of operating system, in terms of software, in terms of how many different hardware that the Windows can run on. So to conclude for you, the antivirus is important to have for Windows because it covers so many different platforms on so many different hardware from different manufacturers.
Yeah, because window is open. So because of it's open itself out there because everybody can connect. If all manufacturers can connect, can go to Windows and do things, but they cannot do that with Apple because proprietary type situation. Now I think we are coming to the end of the show.
I will add to something you just said, just not to have the confusion for our subscribers. There's what's called open source code. Windows is not an open source code, but it is open in the sense that so many manufacturers have access to the code, so they can know what to do, how to build drivers for their products.
Thank you. Listen, I think we are getting to the end of the show, and everybody that are connected are looking at now. If they feel that it is important, this information that they are getting from our broadcast, they should like and subscribe to the channel because this way you will automatically get connected when and knows when we are up and running, when we are broadcasting a new series. Because engineer J is going to be coming back to talk to us about SDSI and also talking about other security product and that we may be interested in. So I thank you for taking the time today to cover those the Windows 11, the kind of challenges that we are having with Windows 11. And also, Harry, I appreciate you to be here. The fact that you are here with us and spend the time and helping us around. So I
Thank you.
think
Thank you
we
for
are at
having
the
me.
end of the show, and I thank you all, and thank you, Harry, thank you, Jay, and we'll see you again. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Okay.
Next time.